Good morning, everyone. This is Monica Graves, and I am going to talk to you about a great subject today for Monday Mindset. I hope that you had a great weekend. I feel like here in Colorado, we were very happy to see the sunshine come back out. Where I live, we got over 2 feet of snow. And I know that there were some areas in Colorado that actually got about 6 feet of snow. So sometimes when that happens in this industry of real estate, we have to just sit back and, these storms come through and we cannot show properties. So it gave me the weekend to do some other things. And I worked on the topic that we are going to talk about today for Monday Mindset or Mindset Monday. It's looking for signs. And what I mean by that is, in life, you've got this aspect of your life that you can continue, you can just not be aware of things and you can just go through your life without any kind of direction. And instead of that, I would say you could focus on some of the signs that you might be seeing in life. And you can, like I said, sit back and not really pay attention. Or if you want to have intention to pay attention. Okay, how do you like that? Intention to pay attention. And I really like that aspect of when you do that in life and you look for the signs, you can feel something, you can look for a sign or ask for a sign. A lot of times I ask for signs. Is this the right decision? And go with that feeling, okay? Because you can really trust yourself. And the more you trust yourself when you ask for signs and then think about it, a lot of times if you're very quiet and you listen for the answers, a lot of times you can go with your gut. And you hear that a lot. Go with your gut. What does that mean? How does that feel to you? And then move forward. Now, are you going to sometimes make mistakes? Yes, that's part of life, right? If you fail at something and you looked at a sign, you took a sign and you said, this is it, this is the way I want to go, and then something happens that you didn't plan, well, that's okay because you learn from it. And that's what life is all about, right? Not everything is going to be perfect. And so with the topic of looking for signs, and today being 11/11, November the 11th, it's also Veterans Day. And we'll talk about that here at closer to the end. But I want to talk about 11/11 as a symbol or a sign. It has a lot of significance to me personally, and I didn't know that 11/11 had that much symbolization until I was probably in high school when I started talking about 11/11 because I would see it on the clock so much, and it just had a lot of very unbelievable significance to me. I wrote about it in my book. My book is called Inner Being Imbalance. You can get it on Amazon or you can go to the website innerbeingimbalance.com. But in the book, I talk about it. I talk about how 11/11 has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. And so I actually have a tattoo. And so when they said, who wants to do Monday Mindset and it's going to be on 11/11, I was like, I've got to do this topic because it really has a lot of symbolization. And I just thought I'd share it with you so that you can start looking for signs that might mean a lot to you as well. So 1111, really what it signifies is it's the there's a 1111 radio station, there's an 1111 magazine, there's 1111 websites. There's a lot of topic on out there on 1111. Like I said, when I was talking about it in high school, we didn't have, the internet, and we didn't have websites on it. And then when I got into college, I talked about it a little bit more and the significance. And then, of course, when I found out about 1111 magazine, I was like, okay, I got to subscribe to this. And it's really, it means a lot to a lot of people. And it all boils down to that numerology and what numbers mean. And so I'm that type of person where I'm very open to learning more about things like that and what numbers mean and when you see them. And so 1111 is a wake-up call. It's almost like just how to witness your life and become more conscious of your choices, your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's like a pre-coded trigger within your cellular structure, and it symbolizes these 4 pillars of healing that encompass your personal personality and responsibility and choices that you make. So you've got your physical, your mental, emotional, and spiritual parts of yourself. And so there's energy around all these different pillars. There's energy within your physical self. There's energy in your mental self, the feelings that you have, and your spiritual self. Okay, so if you think about it, when you've got these different energetic aspects of who you are, then you can start thinking about how numbers can play into the energetic part of your self-realization. Okay, so 1111 is been known as a energetic gateway. It's sort of like a bridge to how you express yourself, how you express yourself as being alive, how you express yourself as oneness with others. And it's a pathway into this neural aspect of your brain. And it's beyond illusion, if you can understand that. It's a doorway, and I like this aspect of it being a doorway. Okay, so when you're looking for symbols or you're looking for signs, it's like you ask for them, and then you can have this doorway to start thinking about who you really are, your one true self. Okay, so the number 1 signifies 1, us being 1. I loved at EXP Hall, at the EXP Con, where they had this whole separate area that was around being 1. And so the numbers 1111, they're 4 ones all stacked up together. And think about that significance of 1, being 1. And then when you see things, when you see signs, you have to really think about, what does that mean to you? Okay, so that's why I wanted to talk about 1111 today, what it means to me, seeing signs, and what has actually happened for me over the course of my 61 years being alive. So 1111 has just been a part of as long as I can remember, like I said, and life has a built-in mechanism. So what I've studied and what I've learned through, like I said, the 1111 radio station, 1111 magazine, is that at the age of 11, a lot of things are impacting you at that age. And we have this, like I said, a built-in mechanism that at the age 11, you're starting to go into that area of your life where the 11 years prior before, there's been some impacts that might have happened for you, impacted moments that are actually going to start to shape your personality and who you are when you go into age 12 and age 13. And so I want you to try to think about that, go back in time, think about, was there anything that might have happened at age 11 that caused you to start forming your personality? Now, for me, at age 11, my parents got divorced, and then we had to move states. So I was born in South Carolina, and we actually moved to Georgia when I was 11. I had to start a new school. I remember this forever because I don't know if you had that happen where you had to actually move to a new school and you're the new person in the school. There's a lot of things that form around that aspect of it. And it could be traumatic, especially the divorce in my family was traumatic. But I took it as, I want to be in charge of my life. I don't want to let these things take hold of me, traumatic events. And I became very independent. I remember being so independent that I started doing things that, making goals of what I wanted to do with my life. And I actually started playing guitar, took guitar lessons. I started becoming more aware of money. And I think that that's around that age where you do that. You start becoming more aware of money, doing things to earn money. And I also started collecting money and started looking at nonprofits and charitable organizations. And at age 11, I actually was on live TV on the news. I collected the most money for UNICEF, United Nations, for the children emergency funds. And I remember all this, and these were like a make or break moment, right? When you have something traumatic, divorce, moving, whatever it could be for you, even now to this day, we have make or break moments where we can decide we're going to let this take over or we're going to move forward. And a lot of people stand still. A lot of people don't grow. And so anyway, I had a mission, and I remember it like it was yesterday, that I had a mission that I was going to live my life, the best life that I possibly can, but also I wanted to serve others. And so I think that UNICEF situation with me at age 11 was something that still stuck with me today. Also, when I met my husband at age 17, I was just a freshman in college. I graduated early and went on to college at age 17. And I told him about 11:11 and how I would see it on the clock and how it would make me feel. And I would say, that it was actually, I believed it was a sign that I was on the right path. And so again, when you see signs, something that, this connected with me, and I always used it as I'm on the right path. It's a doorway opening for me, and I feel good about it. My gut tells me that this is good. And I always felt like, whether you believe in angels or not, but I always felt like my angels were blessing me and saying that this is a good sign. This is, you are being protected. You are safe. And that word safe shows up a lot in our spiritual world of, am I safe? And I always felt safe. So, telling a person this, I just met him, he could have easily just laughed it off and thought I was being silly or thought it was a little woo-woo. But he actually started talking to me about how 11 was his favorite number. And 11 was his football number. And so if you've ever played sports, you know that a number that you choose can have a lot of significance to you. And he said, it was either 11 was his number or 22. And I said, oh, I love number 22 because 22 is 11 plus 11. And also I was born on the 22nd. And so when you start to see this significance and you feel it, you ask the universe about these signs. Well, he actually said that, he felt like we were really meant to meet because of this specific number, but also that 1111 was the last 4 digits of his Social Security number. Now, when he said that, I was blown away, right? I mean, that was a huge sign for me, a huge sign, right? Because I'm like, what are the odds? What are the odds of me meeting someone with not only liking the number 11 and using the number 11 as his number in sports, but also that he had that aspect of having those 4 numbers, 1111, in his Social Security number. So anyway, back then, I don't know if you know this, but this was like in 1980s, early 80s. We carried our Social Security card around with us in our wallets. And so I had to, I was like, you're lying, show me proof. And he pulled out his Social Security card and actually showed it to me. And so anyway, we've been together 44 years. This year makes 44 years that we have been together. And I feel like if you listen to signs, and if you put your heart in it, and you say, you know what, I'm going to ask for a sign, and when it shows up for you, don't just sit there, make a move, right? Take action, because that sign is the energy around it that's actually saying, here you go. All right. So it could be signs with any of the numbers. So think about master numbers. They are 11, 22, 33, 44, and 55. So when you see these kind of signs, like I did, 1111, or you could see the time 222. I see 333 a lot. Threes lined up together in 3, 333 with 3 numbers, and they're all 3 have a lot of significance to me as well. And I hate to just say this, but you're not going to know any of the other numbers. But in the middle of my Social Security number, I have three threes lined up in my. So I feel like numbers that are being attracted to you is just considered doorways for do-overs. Okay, so think about that. These are doorways for do-overs. How can I actually make a change with something that I'm asking about? Give me a sign so that I can actually have a do-over. So if you want to take notes, I've studied all of this in reference to master numbers and what they mean. And so ones or 11s, since it's a master number, it's opening your mind, new beginnings. All right. So again, when I see 1111, I have that feeling of new beginnings. Can I trust this? Can I trust this path that I'm on? When you see 2s and 2s lined up together, like 222 or just the number 22, it means to keep going. It means you are starting to become more conscious about things. And then the 3s, so if the number 33 is a master number, but if you ever see 3s lined up together, that means you are actually stepping into your mastery. And I feel like that mindset aspect of considering yourself a master at something is huge. So you could be practicing becoming a master of something, and then ask for the sign for 3s. It always makes me feel amazing when I see the time 333, because I know that I'm actually a master at who I am, at what I believe. And then when you get to 4s, 44 is finding levels and finding balance. So again, the balance aspect of you you can ask for signs in those numbers when you are looking for your balance. If you feel way stressed out about something. And then 55 is master number. You want to put, if you have that 555 at that time, 555, it just means that stay confident, stay positive, that this is a sign that you are making, again, the right decision. So each time you notice these master numbers, just stop, take a breath, and just be thankful. Be thankful that you're given signs and symbols for knowing that you are on the right path. So again, you may be thinking this is kind of woo-woo for us to talk about today, but I really wanted to share it with you because it means a lot to me. It's worked out. And so I feel like if it's worked out for me, I wanted to share it with you. It's something that, again, if you look at those 4 elements, the physical, the mental, emotional, and spiritual, just try it. It could be fun, right? It could be a part of your life where if you see a sign, like I'm talking about, if you see, 222 on your phone and you're like, you know what? I remember Monica saying that 22 means that I am actually moving forward in something that I believe. Just try it. See what happens. It could be fun, right? So again, I just feel like this week, today being 11/11, and maybe 11/11 might show up on the clock today for you, and that would be awesome, right? There was a huge celebration in 2011 on November the 11th. So it was 11/11/11, and it was I was part of that celebration, and it was just, I couldn't believe how many people in this world feel the same way about certain numbers. So maybe you'll see it on the clock today. If not, no worries. But again, 11/11 is a special day to remember because it's Veterans Day. And I don't know if you actually know the why they have Veterans Day on November 11th, but it's the remembrance that we have, lost wars and won wars, protecting our peace. And so I want you to remember the people that we've lost today, and I also remember the people that are serving us today for our peace and prosperity. So again, these numbers, Veterans Day is about the commemorating the end of World War I. Okay, so it happened on November 11th, 1918, the end of World War I. And it they chose the date because it actually happened on the 11th hour of the 11th day on the 11th month. So a lot of major hostilities of World War I were formally ended on this day. So again, if you think about it, that symbolizes something, right? That symbolizes that we actually ended a war on the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month. To me, that's cool. I mean, I just think it's a way of, again, when 11/11 shows up on this day, it's for us to think about things. Think about where you are in your life. Think about the history of ending World War I, and think about the veterans today that are actually serving us and out there fighting for our peace and our prosperity. So I hope this was fun topic. It's always a fun topic for me to talk about, when people see my tattoos and they're like, why do you have 11/11? Or they know. Like I literally, went to an inspection the other day and I told him I was almost there, and it showed up on his phone for 11:11. And when I walked up, he was like, "This is so cool. You said you'd be here at 11:11 and you were here on 11:11. And that number, my wife was born on November 11th, and we have a lot of significance around that number. So here I am with a stranger, inspector, and he brings up the topic. And then I show him my tattoo, and he's like, wow, that's so cool. So you just never know what could show up for you if you are aware. So stay aware of things. Ask for signs and symbols. It could be a hawk or an eagle. You know, how many of you have seen an eagle? I've seen an eagle. It's so cool, right? And you can ask for a sign on a symbol, something like that. And it just feels so amazing when that happens to you. So I would like to leave you today with a quote from the book called You Were Born Rich. Bob Proctor, one of my favorite authors. We lost him recently, but he, Think and Grow Rich is a book that I've read several times. I still use it as a reference book, but Bob Proctor actually formed a master class on Think and Grow Rich, and then he wrote his own book called You Were Born Rich. So I want to leave you with this, and I want you to think about it today, and I want you to ask for those symbols and signs. So if it is true that energy is neither created nor destroyed, and everything in its original state is either energy or spirit, it necessarily follows that everything that you could ever want is already here. It is as simple as a matter of just choosing the thoughts which will put you into a harmonious vibration with the good that you desire. Okay, so again, the energy that you feel, whether it's on symbols, numbers, signs, if you put energy towards something and it is actually good energy, it's going to come back to you. So again, energy can neither be created or destroyed. Anything in its original state is always energy or spirit. So again, it's something that if you want, know that it's already here. All you got to do is put your thoughts around that and have that harmonious vibration between what you desire, and it will come to you and happen to you. All right, so enjoy today. Take the time out to think about the people for Veterans Day. And again, ask for the signs. All right? Have a great week. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.